Hello, hello. Let's get this show on the road. If you are just joining us, open up that chat and let us know where you are joining us from. And those of you who are panelists, you can open up that chat also and let us know and let the crowd know where you're from. I'm going to open it up too. Welcome, everyone. Make sure, panelists, that you have it to all attendees and panelists so that everyone can see your responses. All right. We're going to give it just a minute or two to let everyone hop on and join us before we get started. Let me move the chat out of the way. All right. Kentucky, California, Ontario, people from all over. If you're just joining us, we're just having everyone introduce themselves in the chat, letting us know where they are joining us from. There we go. Delaware. All right. Chicago. Perfect, perfect. All right, we'll start in just one more minute. Susan, that is dedication. You're from Virginia and vacationing in Florida, and you are on a webinar. I'm impressed. For sure. All right. Hey, Lori. Hi, Bernadette. Okay. Well, I think my cursor keeps disappearing here, and then I can't find it. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Welcome to our webinar on diabetes self-care, how to quit quitting. So we're going to talk tonight about 4 areas to prioritize today for improved diabetes self-care. I'm going to share just a little bit about my story. I'm not going to get super deep into my story because we'll be here all night and we don't have that kind of time. So I have, hold on, I'm moving. Nope, I'll just leave it alone, Mary. Okay, I have been living with type 2 diabetes for over 20 years now. I was diagnosed when I was 21 years old at a routine doctor's appointment. I went in for a physical for work, and the doctor would not let me leave without doing blood work. So I wasn't sick, I felt fine. And blood work came back showing that I was living with type 2. I have no idea how long before that I, had been living, with high blood sugars. But my family history is extensive. Both parents, grandfathers, cousins, siblings. So I feel like my genetic disposition didn't do me any favors there. I also struggle with emotional eating and binge eating disorder. I share that pretty openly with those who will listen. I was going to say those who are close to me, but it's really, you don't even have to be close to me. I share it with everybody because I feel like it's something that is not talked about openly or honestly within the diabetes community. And I think that for me, it's been an integral part of my growth in my wellness journey. So that's why I put that on there as part of my story. I started really focusing on my health in my 30s. For a long time, I pretended that my diagnosis was outside of myself. I was in denial for a long time. I'm now a certified personal trainer, group fitness instructor, diabetes paraprofessional and advocate, and I founded Sugar Mama Strong in 2016. That is the most condensed I think I've ever told my story. So shout out for me. All right. Is anyone watching the chat? Because I don't have mine open, but I promise I'll look at it. Before I get into what Sugar Mama Strong is, I have to tell you something really important, so make sure you're listening. There is a chat box at the bottom of your screen. It might be on the top if you're on a phone. To be honest with you, I'm not sure where it is on the phone or the computer, depending on what device you're using. Open it up. Interact with each other throughout this webinar. There are going to be things that you're going to want to talk about. I know that you're strangers, but there's something that you have in common already. You're sitting here on a diabetes self-care webinar. Chances are you're living with diabetes. Most of you are women. I looked through the list of registration. Every single name was a woman's name. So we have some things in common already. There are going to be things you hear tonight that you've never heard before. There might be things that make you uncomfortable, things that you need to say when you hear them. Open up that chat box, have it open so you can share your thoughts. If you have questions for me or any one of the panelists, there's a Q&A section of the webinar that you can open up and ask a question. At any time during the webinar, jot your question down, and at the very end, we are going to do a question and answer section, okay? Now, Sugar Mama Strong has two main sections. We have a support group here or on Facebook with over 5,000 women purely focused on diabetes support. If you're not part of the group, panelists or someone who's watching who is part of the support group, you can drop the link to the support group. That would be great. And we have Sugar Mama Strong Fitness and Wellness, which is a wellness program designed by and for women with diabetes. So what is Sugar Mama Strong? It's women supporting women. It's a realistic approach to overall wellness. Like I just said, founded by and for women with diabetes. We focus on four main things. We focus on a lot of things, but four main things: nutrition, exercise, mindset, and accountability. And we're going to talk about two of those areas tonight, actually. Most importantly, we're a judgment-free zone to learn and to grow. Living with type 2 diabetes for over half of my life now, there's a lot of emotion that comes with that diagnosis. There's a stigma that comes with it. There's judgment from the outside world. And it was important for me to create a safe space for women like me. And so that was a priority in designing not only the support group, but in the fitness and wellness space also. Before we move on to our webinar content, I would love it if our panelists, our guest speakers tonight, could introduce themselves real quick. So ladies, you can just unmute one by one and introduce yourselves. Doesn't matter what order.
I'll go first. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Stacy McDonald. I live in Los Angeles, California. I am a type 2 diabetic. I was diagnosed in October of 2019. Really glad to be here.
Thanks, Stacy.
Hi. Oops.
That's okay.
Hi, I'm Wendy Crisp, and I am a type 2 diabetic, and I was diagnosed about 6 years ago. I'm from Ohio, and I've been a member of the group for, let's see, it'll be a year in October.
Perfect. All right, Patty, go ahead.
Hi, ladies. My name is Patty Paisley. I'm 58 and I live in Michigan in the middle of the mitten. And I have been a part of Sugar Mama Strong for a little bit longer than I've actually been part of the wellness and fitness group, which that is coming up on 2 years. So it's exciting.
It is. Cindy?
Hi, I'm Cindy Martin. I'm from Virginia. I've been diagnosed with diabetes about 10 years ago. Still ups and downs, just like everybody else, but I'm hanging in there with the help of this group.
Excellent. All right. So before I click on to the next slide, I have a little assignment for you. It's not an assignment, it's not hard, don't get scared. Open up that chat box for me, everybody. I want you, so the title, right, of tonight's webinar is How to Quit Quitting. If you were on last night's coaching call and you're part of Fitness and Wellness, no cheating now. I'm looking at you. Okay. I need you to define the word quitting. When you hear someone say, I quit, or I'm quitting, what do you think of? Let's see what you got. Giving up, giving up, giving up. I see a theme. Stop trying, giving up. They're done. Okay. So I love all these answers. Perfect, perfect. Giving up on myself, not always for the good. All right, so now I can click the next slide. So people ask me a lot or say to me these questions, these phrases. How did you do it? How do you do it? Present tense. I don't know how you do it. I could never do what you do. How long did it take? When did you decide you'd had enough? How do you stick with it? How did you stop giving up? And that was one of the phrases I just saw the most in the chat box. Giving up, giving up, giving up. So you won't be surprised when I tell you the definition of quitting is to cease from doing something, to stop trying. But this one that I put in bold, to accept or acknowledge defeat. That definition, when you hear it, does that mesh with your idea of quitting? To accept or acknowledge defeat. I'm just trying to get you to look at your perspective on the word quitting here for a second. So sometimes I think we use the word quitting interchangeably with struggling, or with being frustrated, or with, you know, going off the rails, or having a hard day, or gaining weight we've already lost, or our A1C goes up and we're frustrated. So burnout, a tough week, a rise in your A1C, gaining weight, eating a pint of Ben and Jerry's, it's my favorite, or going on vacation, those things don't equal quitting. Those things are part of life. Quitting, accepting or acknowledging defeat. None of those things that I listed, I don't hear that in any of those things. When I hear someone say, I've accepted or acknowledged defeat, when it is in regards to a health journey, if I were to say that to myself, and this is real talk, you guys, so there's not going to be any sugarcoating it. I know we're talking about diabetes and that's so like sugarcoating it. Sorry, I'm like rolling my eyes at myself. This is going to be real because I'm living this right along with you. If I were to say in regards to my diabetes, I quit. I accept and I acknowledge defeat. I am done. What I am saying to myself, according to that definition, is I am willing to stop, let my body run its course, get sicker until I die. I am not ready to do that. And I know that nobody on this webinar right now is ready to do that either. Because if you were, you would not have registered for a diabetes self-care webinar. Fair? The answer is yes. So there are no quitters here. There may be people who are frustrated. There may be people who have lost their way. There may be people who have struggled in the past. There may be people who just ate a pint of Ben & Jerry's 30 minutes ago. But there are no quitters here. Do you see the difference? Because a quitter would be someone who says, cool, I'm ready to die now. I'm done. I've accepted defeat. I accept that I have no fight in me left. If you had no fight in you left, you would not be sitting here right now on this webinar. So how do we, now that we know what it is for real, how do we shift our perspective from the start and stop and start and stop and the derailment? How do we stay the course, really? Let's do it. One of my favorite quotes, you can't hate yourself into a version of yourself you can love. So this is all about mindset. And forgive me for not looking at the chat the whole time. I will check in periodically. Remember, questions in the Q&A box. Don't forget that. While you're chatting, totally fine to keep chatting, but make sure that you put your questions in that Q&A box. Okay. So, quitting priority number one, you have to shift your mindset. Okay? We tell ourselves lies every single day. I can't do this. I'll fail again. I'm not strong enough. It's too hard. When your mind is in the right place, you're better equipped to face the highs and lows that diabetes throws your way. And not just diabetes, anything. If you're in a better mind space, your hard times are easier to handle because you are, I always do this with my hands. Hopefully you can see my hands with where the camera is. You know, if your mindset is here and you got knocked down here, you're still high up, right? But if you're starting down here and you get knocked down here, that's a whole different situation. Okay. So when you're telling yourselves these lies, I can't do this, I'll fail again, I'm not strong enough, it's too hard. We do hard things every single day, right? Every day we do hard things. Every day we do. I was just talking to Stacy earlier about this exact thing. We talk about being consistent. We talk about habit building. We talk about doing things that are hard. And we do all of those things very easily for other people, for our job, for our kids, for our spouses, for our house. But when it comes to our own things, all of a sudden it's hard. All of a sudden we can't do it. How's that for a punch in the gut, right? So how do we shift our mindset to get in this better place so we're better equipped to handle these things? It's not just like today I'm going to wake up in a better mindset, right? You have to work at it sometimes, all the time. So here's how we do it. Post-its, you know, the little post-its that you had to get in school, put them up all over the place. Write your goals on them. Write how awesome you are. Write the word smile. Write little affirmations. Put them up all over the place where you can see them. Put them in your car if you spend a lot of time there. While you're sitting in traffic and you're in a bad mood. Put little sayings on your, you know, where your radio is. Things to cheer you up. Choose a book on an area that's a struggle for you and commit to reading some pages every day, or even listening. If you have to commute, listening to audiobooks is a great way to spend your time, right? We always say, well, I don't have time to read. Well, you fit it in where and how you can, right? So if you're struggling with accountability, or you're struggling with self-confidence, if you're struggling with accepting yourself, you guys, there's self-help for that. There's books. And I know sometimes we think, oh, that's so hokey, self-help. But listen, we have to be open to growth if we're going to truly change from the inside out, right? That's a mindset thing too. When we're closed off to learning and growing in certain parts of ourselves, that's a mindset thing. Usually the things that are toughest for us are the things that we resist. So if you're resisting that self-help book, it's probably because you need it. Just saying. Start a gratefulness journal. At the start of each day, list 5 things you're grateful for. When you start your day with a grateful heart, and even if you don't write it down, even if it's just you're laying in bed and you list them off in your head, just starting your day from that place sets the tone for your day. Have a happiness list. What I mean by that is when you are in a funk, have a list of things that you know are going to boost your mood or help you. And actually, I took it a step further in our live video today that I did in Sugar Mama Strong in the support group. What I said in there was, have a list for every mood that you get in. Sad, angry, lonely, bored, whatever other emotion, stressed, and have a list of things that you know help you when you're in those moods, that you can refer to in that moment other than eating your feelings. And I know we're not in the section for, you know, when we're talking about emotional eating, and we'll get there, but it kind of goes with this happiness list. You can address the other emotions too, right? Shift your expectations. We're looking for progress, not perfection. And that ties in also to this diet culture mentality that we're going to address soon. We're choosing one thing to focus on this week. So instead of trying to tackle 57 goals this week, shoot for one so that it feels so good when you can check it off the list. And you can say, I did that. I made progress this week. And P.S., there's no such thing as being perfect. Nobody is. You have to let that go so that you can make progress. Otherwise, you're never going to be satisfied with any amount of progress that you make because it's not perfect. So you have to let that expectation go. Set a goal that's not numbers based. if you take one thing away, well, I mean, I want you to take lots away from this webinar, but for goodness sakes, set a goal that has nothing to do with numbers. What I mean by that is, you know, stop focusing on the pounds on the scale or the inches lost or the number of steps you take or the, you know, all of these are number targets. We have to, you know, maybe you try a new food this week, or maybe you do a different type of exercise. Maybe you do a yoga stretch that you've never done before. Maybe you ask a friend to go for a walk. Maybe you dance to a song in your living room. Maybe you know, try that weird miracle noodle that they have in the store. That scares me. I'm sorry. They just look so weird. I can't do it. And they smell bad. I heard they smell bad. Stacy, don't shake your head at me. You cannot convince me. You can't. Anyway, you can set goals that have nothing to do with the number on the scale. I know it's a shocker, but you can. All right, so shifting your mindset, number 1. Love this quote. When you screw up, skip a workout, or eat a bad meal, it doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you human. Welcome to the club. There's like 7 billion of us. Welcome to Club Human. How to recover from setbacks. Quit quitting priority number 2. My A1C went up. I'm such a failure. I gained weight. Why bother trying? I ate horribly this weekend. I'll start again next month because it doesn't matter what I do anyway. Setbacks are going to happen. Perfection on a health journey does not exist. We just talked about that. Whether you've been diagnosed with diabetes or not, perfection does not exist. You have an opportunity every single minute to start again. So often we get in that mindset of, well, I blew it at lunch. Might as well wait till Monday. It is Monday. Well, I'll start again next Monday, right? But the reality is, I can start again. Every second is a new opportunity. Every new decision. So how do you recover from these setbacks? Here's some steps that you can use. First, you have to be honest with yourself about what happened. What triggered it? What was the situation? What are the details? So you can address the roadblocks to accomplishing your goal. You got to get real with yourself. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Refrain from the blame game. I know this might come as a shock to some of you, but for some people, taking responsibility for setbacks is difficult. We want to blame it on something or someone else instead of looking internally for the cause or the root of the problem. So if something happened, figure out the root cause. I love this one. Be patient with yourself. Sometimes there are setbacks that are true, genuine setbacks. There's a loved one in the hospital, a death in the family, an injury, an illness. These are things that you need to be patient and allow yourself to recover. We so often try to hurry up and solve the problem and fix ourselves. And that just compounds the problem and makes it worse because you rush your healing. And then it makes the problem not even a problem. It makes just the situation harder to recover from. So be patient with yourself if you're facing something that is major. So, you know, I feel like there's a setback where you, I'm going to say it. You guys know what I'm going to say? A setback where you fall off the wagon. And I'll share with you how I feel about that in a second. And then a setback that you don't have control over, like an injury or an illness or a death in the family or something like that. Okay, so let's talk. We're going to have a little side conversation about falling off the wagon. You guys, there's no such thing as falling off the wagon. Stop saying that. Stop saying it. When you fall down, aside from when I was in martial arts for 4 years, I never fall down on purpose. You don't fall on purpose. Falling is an accident. And when we say I fell off the wagon, it's like I am not taking any responsibility for what just happened. I fell. You did not fall, you jumped. You jumped head first into the pint of Ben and Jerry's. You didn't fall into it, you jumped with your mouth first right into that chocolate fudge brownie. That's my favorite. Okay, so don't say I fell off the wagon. Just say I chose to eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's. Just own it. You did that. It's a choice. No one fell anywhere. Okay, so there's that kind of setback. And then there's the setback that you don't have control over. Okay, that was my little side note. Don't say that anymore. Own it. It's a choice. Okay, moving on. Share it. Don't hide from your setbacks. The truth will set you free. Here's what happens when we choose to hide. When you hide from your struggle, you start an internal dialogue about what a terrible person you are for struggling or choosing something that isn't serving your goals, like a pint of Ben and Jerry's. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm such a terrible person. I ate the whole thing of Ben and Jerry's. I didn't even breathe. I just ate it without stopping while I was watching The Biggest Loser. Have you ever done that? Raise your hand. Have you ever eaten a pint of ice cream while you were watching The Biggest Loser? Oh my gosh. My people. Okay, I'm not saying that's healthy. I'm just saying that I've done that before. Look at you all raising your hand. Bless your hearts. Okay. When we hide those things, we start this internal dialogue that sends us on this downward spiral of uncontrollable thoughts, feelings, eating, destruction. And so when we share the struggle, it makes the recovery faster. Does that make sense? The truth will set you free. Share it. Stop hiding. I know that's our immediate response, is to withdraw when we struggle. But what I'm telling you is to lean into your circle. When I'm struggling, I lean into Sugar Mama Strong because I know I need them even more during my struggle. Focus on the things you can control. There are some things that you cannot. There are some things that you can, right? So if I'm struggling with my morning routine because I know that traffic is always bad and I cannot make it to work on time and I'm always rushing around in the morning, I can't control the traffic. I can't control if there's an accident. I can't control the weather. I can't control other drivers. I can't control any of those things. But I can control if I lay my clothes out the night before, if I prepare my lunch the night before, if I have everything ready to go so that my morning routine is smooth and I can get out the door earlier. Those are things that I can control. You have to let go of the things that you can't. Create action-based goals rather than outcome-based goals. A lot of times when I ask members, what are your goals? It starts with something like, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to get my A1C under 7. That's an outcome-based goal. In reality, none of us has any control over the outcome directly. We only have control over the actions that affect the outcome. So when I say create action-based goals, what I mean is behavior-based goals. What are you going to do that affects that outcome? Because that is what you need to work on every day. Okay, so your goals would be, I'm going to drink this much water, I'm going to move this much, I'm going to make sure I check my blood sugar, I'm going to take my medicine, I'm going to eat, 3 meals a day, whatever it is that you are going to do, those are going to be your action-based goals, because that's what ultimately is going to produce the outcome that you want to see. It's not just enough to say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? All right. Brace yourselves. Get a drink of water, get a tissue. Here we go. Diet culture. Let me know in the chat if you've ever heard the phrase diet culture before. I know some of you have, some of you haven't. Diet culture values weight, shape, and size over well-being, packaged on the surface in the name of health. So basically, they want you to think they care about your health, but really, it's just about how you look, how much space you take up. I'm going to open up my chat real quick just so I can see. So diet culture, have you heard about it before? I'm looking. Okay. Okay. All right, so here are the lies we tell ourselves. My worth lies in my results. I'm good or bad. Food is good or bad. I must severely restrict XYZ to reach my goal. I should be doing what everyone else is doing. My results aren't as fast as so-and-so, so I must be doing something wrong. If we are stuck in the feelings of guilt and shame every time we eat, we will constantly feel like we are failing. This is the diet culture mentality. When we associate every food as either good or bad, which then equates to ourselves being good or bad for eating those foods, that is diet culture. And I think being a woman with diabetes just adds to that, because we're taught early on, you shouldn't or should eat these things. And then there's conflicting information on some foods. Heaven forbid you eat a banana and tell someone, or eat oatmeal and tell someone. Like, people lose their minds sometimes, right? Okay, so how to avoid diet culture mentality. And I'm going to share a little bit of the why behind it here. Okay. You have to stop searching for the next best thing and start searching for your best thing. Because ultimately, that's all that matters, is what's going to work for you. Because we don't need fast. We don't need bogus promises and the next fad diet or supplement or shake or, special detox water that's going to make you whatever. We need what is going to work for your body for your health for the long term. And we get so distracted by marketing and fancy promos and sales and just try this, whatever, and before and afters, and that's their job, right? What did I say? $40 billion industry last night. $40 billion spent on trying to convince us that we need what they're selling, that we can't possibly do it without their product or whatever. We have to relearn how to listen to our bodies, beginning with what it feels like to feel hunger and satisfaction. When we have been on diets for so long, or not, some of us have been eating and overeating our entire lives. And so we don't know what that feeling of hunger feels like anymore, because our bodies have never had a chance to tell us, I'm hungry, feed me, because we don't let it get to that point. And we don't know what satisfaction feels like because we don't ever stop there. We overeat till we're stuffed and uncomfortable. So we have to relearn our body's signals. Dropping the words good and bad from your vocab when it comes to food choices. Food is food. When you let that go, I promise you it's a very liberating experience, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility as well. So it can be a little bit scary, I think, especially when you've lived for decades, right? Stacy, we just talked about this earlier. You know, when you're used to living your whole life with good versus bad, it's hard to imagine a life without it. And so it really is relearning and letting go of everything you've been taught and everything that you've known about healthy, right? Food is just food, and choices are just choices. Learning to love exactly who you are, exactly where you are on your journey. So back to that first quote that I shared on this webinar, which was, you can't hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love. So you can be a work in progress and still love yourself right where you are. And that also takes work. Especially if you're newly diagnosed on this call, and that comes with some feelings and some emotions. And sometimes that first emotion is to be angry and to be mad at yourself and to punish yourself. Well, I'll show you, body. And you are so angry that you start restricting because you're mad at yourself. And that will backfire because it's out of anger, not out of love. So we should be taking care of ourselves because we value ourselves and we love ourselves and we're worth it to take care of ourselves. Exercise because of how it makes you feel, not for punishment for what you ate. So I ate a cookie today. I'm going to go for an extra walk. That's not what we're talking about here, right? So I said earlier on a call, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. Patty, you can relate to this. Patty is my 5:30 a.m. workout partner, Monday through Friday. I do not get up at 5 a.m. when my alarm goes off going, let's burn some calories. That is not what I'm thinking when I get up in the morning. That would not get me out of bed at all. Let's see how many calories my watch says I can burn. No. I want to see what my body can do. That's what gets me moving in the morning, is what can I do today? How can I push myself today? I mean, sometimes I honestly just want to press snooze and go back to bed. But because I have Patty waiting for me, I don't do that, which will lead me into our next priority, which is holding ourselves accountable. So guys, remember, you can post questions in that Q&A area. Oop. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So quit quitting priority number 4, holding yourself accountable. But let's talk real talk here, because holding ourselves accountable, I think, is one of the hardest parts of any health journey, because we let ourselves off the hook really easily. Easier than anybody else in our lives. Like, I did a call for SMS Fitness and Wellness, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago at this point. That was, would you be your friend? If you broke promises, or if a friend broke promises to you the way you broke promises to yourself, would you still be friends with that friend? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. And we let ourselves down all the time. The lies we tell ourselves when it comes to accountability: I can do this myself. I don't need help. I'll start tomorrow. I'll work out later. I have plenty of time. We jump through hoops to keep our word to someone else, but we are so quick to break our promises to ourselves. Just like I was talking earlier about that consistency. We're consistent at work. You know, we do the dishes every day. We cook dinner every day. We, you know, have routines that we do at home all the time. But when it comes to our own routines, not so much. Before we get into our how-tos of accountability, we're going to dive a little bit into Sugar Mama Strong Fitness and Wellness and how it relates to helping you stay the course and helping you stay accountable, help you avoid that diet culture mentality, shifting your mindset, recovering from setbacks. And we're going to hear from Stacy and Cindy and Patty and Wendy, and they're going to share some of their story with you. So I just am going to click through here. So Sugar Mama Strong Fitness and Wellness was founded in 2019. I used to teach group fitness classes and do personal training in several local gyms in the area. And as I got to know our community through the support group, Sugar Mama Strong, I decided to leave the traditional gym setting and build a program exclusively for us. Here's why. At my heaviest, I struggled to participate in traditional gym classes. I would go to the gym, I would walk on the treadmill, like so boring. It was so boring. I eventually found Zumba. Zumba was like I call it my gateway exercise. It was like what opened the door for me. But even with Zumba, I needed to modify a lot at the beginning. Nobody told me how to do it. I just figured out, I just had my own dance party in the back of the gym, kind of. I made up my own moves. I did my own thing until I could keep up. As I got more active and my endurance got better, my stamina got better, my flexibility got better, my cardio got better, my knees got better. As my weight went down, my strength went up, I was able to do more. I made my way to the front of the room. My confidence built. I got my certification to teach Zumba. Eventually, I was leading the class that I started in. And that was the beginning of my love story with exercise. And I call it a love story because I seriously hated it. Like I hated it so much. And now I love it. So people can change. I started SMS Fitness and Wellness because I wanted to fill the gap that traditional fitness left. So in fitness and wellness, I provide exercise routines for everyone, not just active people, not just beginners, but everyone. So we have seated workouts, we have chair yoga, we have, workouts for every level. Did we lose Cindy? Looks like we did. So it was my desire to make fitness accessible for everyone. And that was where the program started, was how am I going to do that? From there, I incorporated the nutrition piece with the knowledge that we all thrive from different things. So in our group, you'll find that some are calorie counting, some are following more of a low carb way of life, some are vegan, some are just doing portion control, some are working on that relationship with themselves and following the intuitive eating guidelines. So in my mind, it would be silly for me to say, you have to eat the way that I say because I said so. To me, that makes no sense. We all bring our own likes, dislikes, baggage, chronic conditions. Why would we all eat the same way? Doesn't make sense to me. So my job as the coach is to help you find your path, but more important than that is help you stay on it. Exercise, nutrition, accountability, which we're going to talk about more in a second, and mindset work. And before I talk about the mindset work, I'm going to have the ladies talk. I mean, I already talked about it in the beginning, but I'm going to have our panelists talk about how the group helps them with their mindset, because I really feel like that's a lot of our focus in the group. So I'm just going to share here what our group is about, how you can be part of it, and the special bonuses I have going on for you being part of tonight's webinar. So here are just some testimonials. Taken off metformin. I'm not going to read every single one, so hopefully you can just kind of read these here. Taken off metformin. Better than I have seen through my years of nutrition classes, Weight Watchers, etc. This is Suzanne saying that she's using all the tools that are there in the group. I'll let you guys read this real quick. Move this out of the way. Go. Vicky here was someone who never exercised before. So I'm going to talk while you guys are reading. Before she joined SMS Fitness and Wellness, she didn't exercise. And now she actually leads one of our accountability groups called Happy Hour and exercises 7 days a week. So she'll still tell you she hates exercise, but I don't believe that anymore. I think she just tells herself she hates it, but I don't think she really hates it. Don't tell her I said that though. She might even be on the webinar right now. If you're here, Vicky, I don't believe you. Love all the value and opportunities you have created for us. Commitment to engaging in these opportunities has totally changed my life. Beth is talking about how her insulin needs have decreased so much. And then Desiree, I know you're on the call right now. I saw your name in the list. And then finally, Cindy, this is actually your post. So I'm going to ask you to unmute and just share with us what you've learned about yourself since you've been part of Sugar Mama Strong Fitness and Wellness.
I have learned a lot of things about myself. Number one, I'm tired of quitting. I'm done with that. And through this group's help, I'm hanging in there. I have learned that I am worth it. I can do it, and I'm not alone. There's so many ladies in this group that are just like me. Every day I see it. I can get up, like I shared one time, thinking about eating a bowl of ice cream for breakfast, but I scroll through the post and it pulls me right out of that. So I have learned so much from the group. I enjoy being part of it. Everyone is so supportive. If you need help, it's always there. If you post something, people will, they comment back things to help you out. I love being part of the group. It helps me every day.
I'm so glad you're part of it. Thank you for letting me share that. All right, so here's how you can be part of it. So we're going to get into the details here. So we have 3 options for membership. The one that I'm going to focus on with you tonight, just in terms of time, because we're running out of it. Again, guys, put your questions in the Q&A box. I know there's one in there now, but keep adding to that. And we do have some that were emailed to me before the webinar, so we'll address those as well. The all-in membership is what these ladies here on the webinar, the panelists, what they're part of. So that's what we're going to focus on tonight. So the all-in membership is housed here on Facebook. Here on Facebook, we're on Zoom, but I'm saying here on Facebook. Is housed on Facebook. So you're on Facebook anyway, right? So it's housed on Facebook. We have a private group that is exclusively for members. You have daily accountability in the group every day from me. I post every morning. We have live workouts each week, 2 of them that you can participate in live in action via Facebook Live or Zoom. But if you can't attend live, we also have them on demand. So they're there in the Facebook group whenever you're able to fit a workout into your schedule. So there are about 125 workouts at this point in the group for you to access whenever you're ready. We have a sisterhood event every week, and we also have our group coaching call every Tuesday. We have a new member call, and then we have our entire group call. These calls are based on diabetes wellness related topics. So they could have to do with mindset, nutrition, exercise, accountability, diabetes specific education. It really just depends on what the group vibe is putting off. And that's how I choose the topic for the week. So we share strategies, tips, and how to navigate what we're living every day. After my part of the call is over, my favorite part begins, and that is where I open up the call to sharing questions, celebrations, and that's where the group members share their input and stories. And that to me is the most beautiful part of our group. It is my favorite part of the week. We also have resources on several ways of eating, different guides and principles to common ways of eating, including recipes and sample meal plans, probably over 1,000 recipes at this point. You'll also get a one-on-one call with me when you join the group to get started, to give you a kind of how-to, how the program works, a tour of the group, and we'll set your first goal together. We have a mobile app available on iTunes and Google Play that is free for group members. And you get ongoing support from our team as you navigate through our program. So it is a comprehensive, we hit every area of your journey, and we are with you every step of the way. There is a 2-week free trial. When you sign up, you pay $0. Okay, so you join the group for 2 weeks for free, and then it's $29.99 a month. So if you join tonight within 15 minutes of this webinar ending, you're going to get to your inbox 6 modified workouts right now. You're going to get a 30-day sample meal plan with nutritional information. You're going to get access to my calendar right away to schedule your call. And I'm also going to add my intuitive eating toolkit. So those things that we just talked about, getting rid of diet culture, I'm going to add some resources for you to get started with that, because I know that was like a crazy concept to grasp. Okay, so how do you do that? You're going to go to sugarmamastrong.com/webinar to sign up. Okay. Remember, you get 2 weeks free. So when you check out, your total will be $0. Okay. Make sure it says $0. Reach out to me if it doesn't. Okay. All right. Back to holding yourself accountable. I promised you that we were going to give you those how-tos. Okay. So here we go. You have to know why you're doing it. If you're going to hold yourself accountable and you're going to stay the course, you have to know why you're doing it in the first place. And it can't be because my doctor said so. You have to know every single reason why. So write it all down and keep asking yourself why until you can't ask anymore. You could have 30 things written down. Keep it with you, hang it up somewhere. Okay. Remind yourself when things get tough. Share your goals publicly or with a close friend that you trust. When you put it out there, it helps you to keep your word. Set up mini goals or micro goals along with a schedule to keep you on track. So sometimes we set a deadline, but not a schedule. So we'll say, I want to lose 20 pounds by September 1st. But then we don't set a schedule for the actual behaviors that are going to get us there. So we have a deadline, but not a schedule. What we need is a schedule to keep us on track with those behavioral goals. So tell yourself, I'm going to walk 4 times a week for 30 minutes each day, right? So you're setting up mini goals to get you to that deadline. Create a visual and place it where you can see it daily. So let's take that walking example. If you hang up a calendar, you can mark off the days that you do it so you can see it in front of you as you cross it off the list. In SMS Fitness and Wellness, I always give them a graphic. I give the group a graphic every month on something they're marking off, because it feels good to mark something off when you accomplish it. Look, I did all the things for this week. Devise a reward system to help you stay the course. A reward system does not mean food. I lost 5 pounds, I'm going to go get an ice cream sundae. No. Okay. A reward system can be something easy. You can go check out a new book at the library. It doesn't have to be something like, I'm going to go get a massage. You know, that's always people's first thing, right? Like some extravagant spa day. It doesn't have to be like that. You know, go buy yourself a new pack of gel pens if you like, you know, the way they write, whatever. It doesn't have to be expensive. Okay. You know, figure out what's going to be motivating for you and use that. Evaluate your progress. Figure out what's working, what's not working. Is your reward system meaningful for you? Are your mini goals making sense? Are they making sense? Do you have to rework your schedule now that it's summertime? Do you have to shift when you're doing things? Okay, you don't, if it's not working, it's not working. You got to fix it. And you only know that if you look back and you reflect on it. All right, so shift your mindset, recover from setbacks, avoid that diet culture trap, and hold yourself accountable. So ladies, in the group, we have our coaching calls. We have our journal. Hey, Patty, look, it's you. And we have our live events, our workouts. We have accountability groups that meet every day. Wendy, what does being a member of SMS Fitness and Wellness add to your life? And in terms of this kind of theme we have going on of staying on the road, so to speak.
Well, speaking of mindset, mindset is what has changed, and that started fairly early when I started the group. And I went to a coaching call, and I remember Mary saying that this is not a race. It's not something that you win and you get a trophy and then you're done. It's something that is going to go on forever. And that just really resonated with me. And so I do have my ups and my downs, but it's not like before when I would lose a bunch of weight and then mess up one day and say, okay, that's it, I'm done, and then gain all the weight back. With this, I've had my ups and downs, but I have never just quit. You know, and the support here, when you do stumble, you've got your sisters that just come and surround you and pick you back up, help you along your way. I mean, I can't tell you, I have made some of the best friends here that I would never have believed. I have one friend that she probably texts me 4 or 5 different times a day asking me if I drank my water. And it's great. And I just feel like with this kind of support and this new kind of mindset that I can just do this for life.
I love that. And you can. So Patty, my partner Patty P, how does the accountability aspect of the group, because I feel like, you know, you have the journal, you have our morning workout, you have the coaching call, all of those things play into the accountability for you. How does that help you stay on track?
You know, initially it started where I had to make sure to go out and I had to post what my my daily reading was. Well, I guess that's in the big group, but you know, I had to put out there, what did I do for my exercise and what did I have? And I'm taking pictures of my food and I'm sharing it. And it's holding yourself accountable because you don't want to. Well, man, I guess on some occasions I have taken a picture of a pizza and beer, but that's okay, because I chose to go that route. I didn't fall off the wagon. I jumped off the wagon for a day and then got back on. But it really does hold yourself accountable, because you've got all these other ladies that can do it. And now I know that I can do it. And now that I've even been with this program now for almost 2 years, I take on more of a cheerleader, and yes, you can do this too kind of role, because if I can do it, anybody else can do it too. And we've all got each other here to support each other through good, bad, and ugly. And even, the carb cupboard of doom, we support each other. It's just a big sisterhood. I've never, just like Wendy said, I've never had such a big group of friends now, and from all over the United States. I'm flabbergasted, and it keeps me going every day.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Patty. And Stacy, last but not least. So you share often that the mindset shift you're making here has been the biggest difference for you. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Sure. Sorry, sure. So I came into this program in a state of severe unwellness. If we can just talk numbers, like my blood sugar had been really high for God knows how long. I'm thinking like in the 500s, 550s for God knows how long. And so clearly by definition, I hadn't quit, but there was a lot of avoidance for whatever needed to be taken care of. My self-care was being avoided. And there came a point, so when I met Mary, there was like this opportunity came to me to be able to take control of my health for real. Because I was scared. I was really afraid of what it meant to have diabetes and what that would look like long term. And I needed help. Mary, tell the truth. She can tell you. I don't mind. That when I had my one-on-one call with her and we talked about fitness and exercise, I'm like, I don't exercise. So there clearly needed to be a shift in mindset. In order for me to be able to do anything healthy long-term, I had to change my mind and my habits. And I didn't know that I had such skewed idea of what anything meant. And so coming into the group, it's like I'm in here with this group of ladies who are from all different walks of life. We're all different ages, all different stages. And you hear things like, you can't love yourself you can't hate yourself to wellness. And you're just not confronted, but you're given ideas to think about things that you're given ideas and information that you've never had previously that help you to shift how you perceive yourself, how you perceive what it means to be healthy and what needs to be done. Because a lot of us come into this thinking or meet it thinking, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. But we're also faced with the alternative. Well, if I don't do that, what's that going to look like down the road? So joining SMS Fitness and Wellness for me and being able to dismantle my former belief system and being able to unlearn all of the conditioning, all of the things that she mentioned, diet culture. And if that's not a term that you're familiar with, I just think of like my mom. She was always on diets. Her and her friends were always cycling through the diet things and whatever her mom taught her. So if you think of it in that terminology, and these are the women who, impacted my life, I kind of, inherited their food baggage and then added on my own for present day, whatever that was. So coming into this group, you hear ideas that kind of help you think through that. And, this may not be the right way to think about it. Let's try what they're talking about this way. And so I went from saying I'm never going to exercise, I don't like to exercise, to thinking, okay, let's create space and do it a little bit and see how it feels. And like Mary said, it's not about, and I walked into it with, I'm going to lose this many pounds and I'm going to do all these things. And when those things didn't happen, I was pissed. I was really upset because diet culture tells me if you do X, Y, Z, this many pounds, you should expect these many pounds to drop off. And when it didn't happen, I was upset and I wanted to quit. Like I would wake up every day saying, yeah, I'm done. And then I walk into the group, Facebook was my go-to morning thing. And the page, our feed pops up and, there are these women who are choosing to keep their health a priority, to keep whatever their goals are, their priority, they're in front and they're doing it good, bad, or indifferent. Not perfect. And we say when it's not perfect, we can tell each other it wasn't good today, but they're still doing it. And then I live to fight another day, but it takes, and it's still taking me, that constant challenging the ideas that I hold dear to my heart. I hold on fast to because no one likes to change really. But everything that I have changed, the person that I am today is drastically different from the person that I was a year and a half ago when I joined this program. Very sick, like I said, very unwell. You could see it in my face. And now I'm vibrant and energetic and excited about being healthy, and the idea of being healthy forever is just a joy. And as the women mentioned, like we are sisterhood. These are my friends. I've never met them in person and I can't wait until I do. But knowing that I have people who have my back and understand when tears, roll down my face because this disease and having to deal with it is hard. It's hard. And then you have the responsibility, especially if you have the responsibility of taking care of other people and you want so badly to just kind of put yourself on the back burner. They're here for you to say, no, remember, you're first. You first, and then everyone else should prioritize under that, and they're going to be okay. All will be well. So changing my mindset has been life-changing because when I changed how I thought, I changed how I lived. So thank you.
I love that. When I changed how I thought, I changed how I lived. How about that? That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I think that, all of us can relate to what Stacy shared, what all of you shared really, in the sisterhood aspect of the group. And I've been lucky enough that, I've gotten to meet here and there someone in person by chance. But I just cannot wait till the day that we can meet in person and have a big group hug. All right, we're gonna do our question and answer time. Again, if you are ready to enroll and get your 2-week free trial, you're going to go to sugarmamastrong.com/webinar. We're opening 25 spots tonight for new members. Your bonus offers are up here on the screen. Everything that's included is up here as well. We're just going to leave this up while we're doing the question and answer. Again, anything you have questions about, intuitive eating, mindset, overcoming obstacles, accountability, diabetes life, the group, the program, anything, go ahead and drop those now into the question and answer. You can also have questions for our panelists, not just me. Did you like how I added that there for you guys? Isn't that exciting? You're welcome. So Desiree, you asked, is there access to the posts I'm using? Are you asking for the webinar slides? Absolutely. I can add that to the file section of the group. I'm also going to be sending out the recording via email, so you'll have the slides in the recording. So that's probably sufficient, I would guess. We had a couple of questions about the program that were emailed. So a lot of people asked this one, so I'm glad it was sent in, was how much time is required when you join this group? And I'll go ahead and answer this one. I won't put anyone on the spot. So when you join SMS Fitness and Wellness, it's really up to you in terms of how much time you invest in the group. I have no requirement, so to speak. There's no, you're going to get kicked out if you don't spend X amount of time or answer this question or attend this live event. There's no expectation like that. There is a post every morning that's meant to engage your brain, get you thinking. Maybe it's a recipe, it might be a question to reflect on. Whether you type your answer or think about it in your head, that's up to you. I will say this though, the people who engage, the people who show up to an event during the week or watch the recording later on, or interact with other people's posts or stories or members of the group, those people have greater success than the people who don't engage. Now, that could be 5 minutes a day, but they show up. So take that answer for what it is. Everybody is different. Cindy said, the more I participate, the more I get out of it. Desiree said, you get out what you put into it. So that's coming from members of the group. So I guess the consensus is the more you show up, the more you get. And I think that's with everything. You know, if you sign up for a training at work, oh my goodness gracious. I didn't mean to do that. You know, if you sign up for a training at work and then you skim over it and you don't really look at it, you're not going to get anything out of it. You sign up for a gym membership and you never walk in the door, your muscles aren't going to grow, right? You don't get anything just for signing up. So you have to, you know, put in the effort if you want the return. So how long does it take to see results? This is a different answer for everyone. Everyone's body responds differently. You know, we want a timeline, and I can't really give that to you. If you're talking results as in weight loss, I'll tell you that healthy weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds a week. Most people don't like hearing that. Most people want me to tell them that they're going to lose 20 pounds in a month. I don't have a magic wand, and I'm not selling potions and quick fixes here. I'm selling lifelong habits of wellness and health and habit building success. That's what we're doing here. We're doing the work. And so if you're looking to rebuild your habits, I call them healthy habit focuses, work on your mindset and get out of this hamster wheel of diet culture, then I am in it with you for however long it takes. If you can't come to live events, we have events Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday morning. Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and Saturday morning are all recorded. So if you can't come live, they are there for you when you are available. The only event that's not recorded is our Sisterhood Social. The reason it's not recorded is it's a social event. So people are sharing their life. They're not it's not an educational event. So we're talking about TV shows and travel and our plans for the weekend. I don't think anyone would really want to listen to a recording of our sisterhood event. And I don't think people would be comfortable with that event being recorded because it is so personal. How do I know if this program is right for me? Do any of the panelists want to chip in on this one? How would you know if this program is right for you? What would you say to someone if they're like considering it and they're like, oh, I don't don't know if this is it for me. Patty, what would you say to that person?
I thought the same thing. I wasn't sure about what I was getting myself into. I had really no idea who Mary Van Dorn was. All I knew was that I had tried to take care of this by myself and I couldn't do it. But Mary and all these ladies have taught me how to do it, how to utilize the tools that Mary gives you, and how to take yourself to that place you want to be, how to get there. I didn't share earlier, but I was on metformin, and after a little over a year of being on Mary's program, I am now off metformin. I'm not taking any medication. My medication now, and you may have seen my posts, is my workout, my 5:30 workout with Mary Van Dorn. That's my alarm clock going off. That's my medication now every day. And that's what I want for me. And that's what's great about this program too. It's going to be geared for what you put into it. That's the results you're going to get out of it. And you're going to have the support of Mary and all these ladies from, as Stacy said, all different sizes, shapes, ages, locations, different stages in their life, different stages in their wellness program. So I can't even tell you. There's a lot. You're going to get a lot out of it. But like Mary said, she's not going to wave her magic wand. She's not doing the work for you. She's going to teach you. She's going to give you the tools, and we're all going to support you, and we're going to be your cheerleaders. But you're going to have to put some work into it yourself.
What? Crazy talk. Anyone have anything else to add to that? I think Patty pretty much nailed it. You know, I think we all have those reservations at first. You know, how do I know if it's like, there's only one way to find out, people. It's only one way to find out, and that's that you got to jump in. And when I say jump in, it can't just be, well, I'm going to dip a toe in the water and just see what it feels like, because then you're really not getting the experience. If you're going to do it, you got to jump in and you got to get the full experience, and you have to let yourself feel it. That's the only way you're going to know if it's for you. All right. And last question. How is this program different from traditional programs that are out there? So you see commercials every day. We are bombarded by them all the time. So how is this program different? I'll start, and then if you guys want to jump in, feel free. This program is different. Number one, it is for women only. Number two, it is diabetes focused. It is not limited to just one way of eating. There are no special foods required. I'm not making you buy food. Exercise is included for every fitness level. And it's real people. You're not talking to a robot. When you schedule a call, when you send a message, it is my face on the other end of it. It's me. So this is not something that is like a big corporation with robots answering messages. It's real people. And, you know, someone who is living diabetes life right alongside you. Ladies, is there anything that you would want to add in terms of how it's different from traditional fitness or weight loss programs out there? Go ahead, Stacy.
It's different because it's a blueprint. As you said, it's a blueprint tailored for women living with diabetes. And it is literally everything that you need to get yourself where you want to be. And it's also self-paced. But if you need help, you know, you have your coach there. Mary's a coach. and a personal trainer. So you have that aspect of if you need help with anything, she's right there for you. And again, it's not a robot. You're not sending an email. It's like you can call her and she's right there to answer any question that you might have. But all the resources are there. Every resource that you will need to establish your goal and to meet that goal are in this program. And I know that traditional programs want to tell you that it's the same, that everything you need is all there. But if you've joined any of them, you know that they're not. They're lacking. They're all lacking seemingly the same things. But with this program, everything you need is right there. So that's how it's different.
I agree. I agree. Thank you for that. Ladies, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. The enrollment link is open. Visit sugarmamastrong.com/webinar. If you're watching the recording, please email me with any questions you might have that weren't answered tonight. And thank you again so much for joining us, panelists. Thank you again for your time. And as soon as I figure out how to end the webinar, then, oh, there it is. All right. Thank you again, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions, and I am happy to answer them. Good night.